All right, y'all, here's what happened. I got carried away doing my makeup. I feel like I made it kind of fancy, even though I was wearing this very casual sweatshirt top, but then I still didn't want to change out of this top because it's so cozy. So from the neck up, I'm going to a gala, and from the neck down, I'm at home during a global pandemic. That's just what we're gonna do today. I'm trying to balance it out by like not doing anything to my hair and also not wearing earrings. So maybe it like all seems intentional, but you know, I just told you that it wasn't, so I'm not fooling anyone. Also, please welcome to the stage some maintenance guys doing work on the house next door right outside my window. They might be moonlighting as YouTubers? No. Guest stars? They might be making a guest appearance. You might hear them. This is a video about new makeup releases. I'm not going to make the mistake that I made last time. Last time I just busted through the trend mood listings after having not seen them in advance. Like I hadn't prepped and I didn't read them very carefully while I was doing that. And then I regretted it because I felt like the video wasn't as robust and didn't really give a full picture of how I felt about everything as it could have. So this time I decided to dig. I like went through, I read about everything, I prepared myself. And here's what happened. I found that a lot of things made my heart go double beat. And so I'm really excited to film this because that hasn't happened in a long time. Two reasons. One, that hasn't happened in a long time. So it's just more fun to talk about things that you feel like are in some ways getting it right. But I'm on a no buy right now. So I'm also going to be talking about why I'm not buying any of this stuff, even though it's kind of making me want it. So this is shaping up to be a relatively meaty episode of new makeup releases and all my feelings. If this is your first time to my channel, welcome. I'm so glad you're here. I'm Hannah. I love beautiful things, but I try not to buy too much. So I'm always getting myself into this kind of situation. Loving stuff, being really interested in it, wanting it, but not buying it. And if content that tends to kind of circle back to that situation sounds good to you, I hope you'll subscribe. Let's go ahead now and get into the meat of this, hopefully as meaty as I hope it will be, video. There are some things on Trend Mood that I haven't looked at, I haven't been keeping up with it. So in that way, this is similar to the other video. I just sat down today and I was like, let's see what's new. Let's see if I can get a video out of it. And indeed I can. And I specifically just pulled up all of the things that meet this definition. Like there's something about them that's making me feel those acquisitive feelings. Those feelings of desire. There are a whole bunch of things also that are new that aren't making me feel those feelings. I think that what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just circle back at the very end and go through and point out a couple of them that I feel like are of note, but don't fall under the definition that something had to fall. No, preposition. Don't fall under the definition under which something had to fall to be included, really to be spotlit in this video. So we're starting with a listing that's, it might even have already been up the last time I filmed this video. We're going kind of back to where I left off with the last new makeup releases and all my feelings. And this is calling to me for a number of reasons. It's mostly just the shape and the packaging. And here's the thing. It might be that because I'm on a no buy and I've been on it for at this point, like a month and a half, it might be that I'm just getting to the point where everything looks amazing. You know what I mean? So that could be affecting it. And last time I filmed this, I was in a very dismissive, sort of grumpy mood. And I'm sure that affected my feeling that everything was garbage. You know what I mean? Our moods affect like how vulnerable we are to this kind of advertising. But I feel like that's a good thing to talk about, if not showcase on YouTube. So I'm just going with it. So this is a new clean, Black-owned brand that's coming to Sephora. The brand is called Lys, L-Y-S, and it's got these, I mean, we go along thinking like everything's been done. Innovation is like not really a thing. It's just a matter of whether the formulas are good and the colors are good. And then a brand comes along and does something like this, these triangular compacts, which it might not be the first time that there have been triangular compacts like this, but they don't remind me of anything. You know, I feel like a lot of times when a new brand comes out or a brand comes out with new packaging or new product, it's hard at this point for it not to like remind me of something that I've seen before, even owned or tried before. These triangular compacts, they don't, I mean, it's not, I can think of some triangle makeup, but nothing that really looks like this, where I'm looking at these and I'm like, oh, it looks like XYZ that I remember. So that's pretty exciting, right? I feel like that that makes me feel like the entire brand is promising, because it does take work and creativity and innovation and a determination to be bringing something new to the market to do that. And then the shades look very, very beautiful of the lip colors. So I'm going to be following their future career with great interest. And you know, this is going to be my rallying cry throughout this video. I'm on a no buy. So the fact that I'm attracted to this doesn't mean that I'm going to rush out and buy it. But I might circle back when my no buy is over at the beginning of April and think about this brand, like check out what's going on with them. And maybe I'll consider doing a self-sponsored review of this brand, like doing a review on my YouTube channel. I don't know anything about it except what I've seen on this Trend Mood post. And so far, what I've seen is intriguing me. And of course, I'm very, very happy to see another Black-owned beauty brand and another clean brand come to Sephora. I think that this next thing, this is the Marc Jacobs. So Marc Jacobs is releasing, I don't know, some boring and very bland in terms of like the richness of the color face palettes. That was one adjective, boring and bland in terms of the richness of the color. Here comes the noun. Face palettes. Both of them look like Neapolitan ice cream. Both of them look like shades that I just am not, no. I will say though, the outside of the packaging, it both deeply attracts me and makes me want it, and reminds me of like a toilet that was made in like the 60s. You know that kind of swirled lucite? It's like an opaque pale color swirled with opaque white lucite that I just feel like was all over bathrooms in the 60s and 70s. I mean, this looks like that. Like, it looks like they melted down like a toilet from my grandmother's house and refashioned it into a Marc Jacobs compact. But I love it. I don't know, there's something about it. It both looks like that and looks very beautiful, and I really want it. And I see now that it's like cream and coffee inspired, and it definitely does look like that as well. So if there was something more beautiful to me inside of those compacts, this would literally be on my wish list already. Like I'm a sucker for beautiful packaging and like big flat compacts like that. But it's not just that. It's the concealer. They're making it look so good. I think that to me, there's something visceral about, there's something really viscerally appealing about the fact that they seem to have brought the lightest shades and the darkest shades into the shot. And I think this might be Trend Mood's photography. It might actually, I don't know if it's like Marc Jacobs photography. I think it's Trend Mood photography, but she's put the lightest shades and the darkest shades right next to each other. So you both get a sense that the shade range is very broad, which, you know, love to see it. And I also get excited because I feel like that very pale shade might actually be pale enough for me. Love to see it. And the packaging is just very appealing. That the sense of range, the sense of extreme variety, it's viscerally appealing in a way that has nothing to do with the hopes that I might be able to wear it or the hopes that the shade range is inclusive. It's like, it's appealing visually. It's like, as a painter, as an artist, as a lover of colorful goop, it makes me want to get my hands on it. And I don't know. I'm like, I want to do a self-sponsored review of this Marc Jacobs stuff, which I don't think that a self-sponsored review of just a new concealer from a luxury beauty brand, that's not really like a wise choice for me in terms of how I spend my budget for a self-sponsored review, but it makes me want to do that. And that's why I'm talking about it in this video. It just all looks beautiful. And maybe I'm just going through a moment today where I love makeup a lot. And I'm being reminded of why I love makeup and why I have a beauty YouTube channel, because I want this. And I feel like I can, it's like because I want it, but I know that I'm not going to buy it. I feel like the thing that I want from it, which is inspiration and excitement and artistic love and this sort of like generative feeling, this feeling of abundance on the planet of like color and texture that makes us feel feelings. I'm getting that from it. Like what I want, I'm getting just from looking at the pictures. And then I can kind of like put it to bed. So that kind of makes me happy. Okay, the next thing is from Melt. Here's how I feel. I'm not the target demographic for Melt because I really love neutrals and beiges and reds. And I think that they tend to always have, you know, color. I mean, it definitely is sort of this off the beaten path, like indie, colorful makeup vibe. Lots of grungy greens and mustards. They kept releasing palette after palette that was like blues and mattes and greens and mattes and yellows and golds and mattes. Remember they had like the big grungy green palette and the little grungy green palette that leaned like blue green, and then they had this like Beetlejuice with the pink and the purple and green, and then they had that gorgeous Dia de los Muertos collection with like the blues and the reds. All of it's very beautiful in the abstract, but it's not giving me that feeling like I want to do the makeup. I want to do the makeup with that makeup, you know? And that's why I've always felt like Melt and I, like I'm interested in some of what they do, but our paths have never really converged in terms of like what I want and what they are giving. And with this collection, they're coming out and being like, Hannahs of the world, here you go. You know, like this is for me in terms of the colors and even kind of in terms of like the way in which the eyeshadows, it's like the single eyeshadows rather than palettes, and I'm more into singles. So they really are catering to me, which makes me think that they're catering to the entire demographic that they've always missed. And that makes me feel like this is a result of a study that was conducted by Melt for Sephora, or by Sephora for Melt, in the interest of getting more of Sephora's regular consumers to buy Melt instead of skipping over Melt. And the fact that it's minis maybe even kind of supports that. They're like, let's trot out kind of a new look or a new filter, you know what I mean? Like a filter for a different kind of makeup lover, but let's trot it out in minis and see if anyone bites. That's kind of how I feel about this. Luckily for me, I don't really have angst around it because I don't like minis of little bullet lipsticks. I do love all of the colors that are here. These are my lipstick colors. But I don't like minis of bullets. I feel like they're very fiddly and they just get squashed and fall out, and you never really have like the full lipstick experience when you have a lipstick mini. So I don't want to buy it. I don't want to buy these single eyeshadows either. I have plenty of beautiful neutral eyeshadow. So it's not actually making me want it, but I put it on the list to talk about in this video because it's making me feel those feelings of excitement about makeup and color, and it's making me feel like this is for me, which I think is what a lot of things shocked me this week by making me feel that way. And that's the premise of the video. Oh, this is interesting. Actually, this is sort of, hold on, I'm thirsty. Is my hair, what is that right there? Has that been there this whole video? Nothing is gonna make it look not weird up there. Nothing I do. I should look at myself more often when I'm filming. Also, look how long my bangs are. They are like, if I didn't sweep them to the side a little, they'd be covering my brows. That's how long they are. I think I'm just gonna keep letting them grow. I think this is the watershed moment. So this is something from Good Molecules that reminded me that I have never told you guys that the last thing that Good Molecules sent me, I think I'm on their PR list. I don't know if they send everything, but they sent this gel eye cream, their last release, and I really love it. I'm pretty picky about eye cream because I want to be able to put it on my upper lids as well. And I also want it to be kind of tenacious. I have pretty dry skin. This one just checks all of my boxes, and I also love the packaging. So when I saw this, I thought at first that it was just this, and then I thought that it was something else, which is actually a BHA gel cream, which really interests me because I've been struggling with pretty bad acne lately, especially compared to how it's been going for me the past couple of years. And it's for irritated and blemish prone skin. So I do hope that they send this to me in PR. And if they do, you know, of course, I'll try it and report back. And then I realized I'd never reported back about this. Good Molecules has really impressed me. I mean, I use actually a number of their products, and sometimes as I'm moving through the day, like using the mild cleanser and then like using this, and what's another one that I often, the oils, you know, I'll be putting them on and I'll be like, I should tell my subscribers how much I've been enjoying Good Molecules, and then I always forget. So I decided to use the fact that this has been announced as an occasion to like circle back and tell you. Just in terms of this product announcement, I'm interested in it again because I like the brand. I've been impressed by the brand and I like that it's affordable. But also I like this kind of product, like a BHA gel cream or an AHA gel cream, just, you know, I like different delivery mechanisms for exfoliating acids. But as someone who's on a no buy, I certainly wouldn't be running out and buying this if I, you know, wasn't on their PR list or wasn't on YouTube, because I have other exfoliating acid products. I have other AHAs. And it'll be interesting to know if I do get to try it, why it's different, if it's different from other delivery mechanisms for acids. But it's definitely not in my philosophy to feel like I need to buy a new version of a type of product for skin that I already have. So that's why this is sort of like making me excited about it, making me want it, but is also not something that I would be running out and buying with my money. Maybe the next time I ran out, like if I ran out of exfoliating toner, or, you know, if I ran out of whatever I had been using to get BHAs onto my skin, maybe I'd think about buying that one and trying it as the next one, but I wouldn't buy it while I still already had something that I'm using to get BHAs onto my skin. Okay, shocker of the century. And you know, now that I'm looking at it again, now that I'm actually filming, this is probably the one of all of them that I don't actually want. You know what I mean? Like I didn't look at it and go like, oh, I want that. Something in me wants that. But because I'm feeling like a real makeup lover today, and because I'm feeling kind of generous, I guess, with these brands and their new products, when I saw this teddy bear palette from Too Faced, ordinarily this is the kind of thing I would just be like, bleh. But I don't know, it just seems like a little bit more classily done than much of what I've seen from Too Faced over the past several years, and then what I expect to see from them. Not necessarily the interior of the highlighter, that little bear on the highlighter, like that's exactly what I would expect from Too Faced. But the exterior of both of them, how it's just pretty clean and clear, and then just this like embossed thing. It's like a minimalist version of Too Faced packaging, like a minimalist version of their cutesy thing that they do. And then even the palette itself, I mean, it is a bit boring, but I think that they've done a couple of things that have saved it from literally being completely unremarkable and 100% not even a blip on the screen. One thing that they've done is put that mustardy shade in there. Like if they had, instead of that mustardy shade, just had another pale matte that didn't lean mustard or didn't lean yellow, then this entire palette would, again, not even merit being called a blip on the screen. But they did. That mustardy shade is kind of grounding it and making it feel like it has a little more grit than it otherwise would. And then the other thing is right next to that mustardy shade, to its left, there's a very foiled, very textured looking silver, one of those like goldy silvers. And that's also grounding the palette and just making it look like it might have a little more to offer than most things I've ever seen from Too Faced ever in its entire life. And it's making me then appreciate the beautiful kind of like neutral color of the either larger eyeshadow or blush, I'm not sure what it is, in the top left-hand corner. I don't know. I just, rather than being like, this is truly nothing to me, I can't believe that they think people will buy this, I saw this and I was like, huh. Like it seems like they've inched a little bit closer to the mark. I'm not saying they're on the mark. They just have inched a little bit closer to the mark, I feel like, with this palette. It's just how I feel. This is another thing. Why do I want this? Why do I feel like this was a really good idea? It's all of these, I feel like I just made a weird noise. It's like, it's a combination of little things. Just like what I was saying with the Too Faced one. It's all of these little things that add up to me kind of opening my heart to the release instead of immediately just shutting it out and being like, who needs more makeup? Not me. This is dumb, right? Which is kind of like my knee-jerk reaction most of the time. With the Too Faced palette, I was telling you like these little tiny details, like that mustard shade, that texture, the minimalist packaging, these little choices that made me kind of go, And when I say open my heart, I don't mean open my heart to the possibility of me buying it or even wanting to acquire it. Just opening my heart to some like appreciation for it, or thinking that, you know, maybe it's kind of decent. And it's this Pat McGrath's lipstick, I guess, is this a Valentine's Day Love and Lust gloss duo in the heart-shaped packaging. It's not the heart-shaped packaging quite that gets me, because I don't usually go for kitschy stuff in any way or cutesy stuff, But I do think it's really well executed. The fact that one side, one lobe of the heart is the lid and that's what twists off. That's just it's really attractive. It's really well executed. I feel like there are so many ways in which heart-shaped lip gloss packaging could be just not desirable, but there's something about the fact that it's not even a tube at all. It's so different. It's like these little charms that would be, I don't know, in your purse or in your pocket. So initially I was like, I want to hold them. I want to eat them. I want to chew on them. You know what I mean? It's like this animal instinct of like it's like, I like it. But then the colors are really pretty. Both of them are sort of like neutral enough and interesting enough to feel sophisticated to me instead of just feeling like these straight up pinks and reds and nudes, you know? They're really, I would wear both of those colors. I would want both of them. And then you look at the colors on the models and they look beautiful, especially the darker one. It seems like it has a little bit of an orangey undertone. It's this really interesting glossy shade that you think it's kind of warm toned, but kind of cool toned, but kind of coral. It's that middle. It feels multi-layered, you know what I mean, in terms of color. I just like it. And again, I'm not gonna buy it. I'm not even gonna put it on my birthday wish list. I just looked at this and I was like, I like it rather than not liking it. And I couldn't believe it. I kept having that feeling over and over again. This is another thing that I personally don't, I guess it was kind of false advertising to be like, this is a video full of things that I personally actively want. Because really, this is a great example of one that I certainly don't want. I do not want the P. Louise lip base. I'm not out here wanting a lip base. I'm not out here wanting stuff from P. Louise. Like I didn't look at this and go like, I want to buy it. Not at all. And I'm sure that I never will. I just think these are great colors. Gorgeous. They could easily have done this. They could have released like a range of lip bases and had every single color be one that didn't interest me, because that's what most makeup brands do. Most lipstick releases, like most releases of a range of lip colors. I've seen brands release 15 lip colors, and of the 15, there's not a single one that looks to me beautiful, because what I care about are like undertones and the balance of colors and the uniqueness and the fact that it kind of looks earthy and wearable, but also could be statement all at the same time, you know? I'm picky about color. I want it to be truly beautiful, a truly standout color. Each little color of each little lipstick. And in this case, all the way from the very palest one, which is extremely yellow and very strange. It's like this milky yellow-brown beige. And I love that. And even the very pale pink toned one that's a color of pink that I love. You know, it's not too peachy. It's not too pink. It's not too cool toned. They all look stunning, all the way down to the very, very darkest one, which I very rarely wear a vampy lip. So I would definitely not, if I were going to acquire even 5 of these, that very dark one, is it Relentless Rouge or Relentless Rogue? It wouldn't be one of the ones that I would buy. You know what I mean? It would just go untouched in my collection. And yet I look at it and I'm like, wow, what a gorgeous lipstick. What a beautiful one. And the range is beautiful and they complement each other. And this armful of swatches just makes me want to scream and shout. You know what I mean? So I just think that's very beautiful. Okay, here's a real gag. The Animal Crossing collection from ColourPop, which I talked about before, having no interest in because at that time I had not played Animal Crossing. I now have played Animal Crossing. And so I looked at this and I was like, oh yeah, the Animal Crossing collection from ColourPop. I didn't want it before. I don't particularly want it now. Like I truly don't. But I at least can appreciate the references and the packaging. And I examined it with much more passion and curiosity this time around than I did when it was first announced. So it's just, you know, aligned with this trend of me looking through Trend Mood today, wondering whether I would want to talk about any makeup on camera, and then thing after thing after thing coming up and me going like, oh, ooh, examine, you know, like I did that with this, even though it's like the Animal Crossing ColourPop collection. And I get why it's cute that they have like the lip crayons and like the peaches and the oranges and then like the cherries and the apples, because those are the you know, fruits that you grow in Animal Crossing. Like I get it. It's cute. Okay, I get it. Okay, this is one. Next up, something that I need you guys to talk me out of continuing to be interested in, or maybe talk me into continuing to be interested in it if I should be. I just feel like I've never really gotten a straight answer about the Tower 28 lip and cheek. Here's the thing. I, at this point in my 3-year career on YouTube, have a lot of lip and cheeks have come across my desk. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've tried out a lot of lip and cheek balms and makeup products, compacts, substances, a lot of lip and cheek substances from a lot of different brands and in a lot of different packagings, like formats. When they're good, they're very, very good. I'm really into the one from e.l.f., for example, the cream cheek. And when they're bad, they're horrid in this really specific way, which is that they're too balmy and it's just like oil in a pan. What's a good example? Actually, I, for example, don't particularly like the RMS ones. I know that that's like a really popular one because I find them just to be coconut oil. It's like a pigment and coconut oil mix. And so it's gleaming because it's oily and it stays oily on my skin, and I don't like that. I love to have skin gleaming like this, but this is gleaming because of a product that sets down but still retains its gleam. It's like it's a makeup product, you know what I mean? It's not oily. It's not like an oily sheet. It's not a layer of oil on my skin that's reflecting the light. It's particles, it's reflective particles that are reflecting the light on my cheeks. And that's what I prefer. And I patently don't like having like a layer of oil on my face. So there are all of these lip and cheek balms that have come across my desk that I've tried. And then, you know, because they're oily, I have trouble blending them. I have trouble getting them to layer on themselves. And then I don't like how they wear. And looking at these, it's easy for me to envision that that's what they are. Like my imagination can easily produce a future scenario in which I get one of these and I start trying to use it. And it's that sort of translucent pigmented balm that is super oily and doesn't layer and patches on itself. But my imagination, having tried a whole bunch of lip and cheek products that I do love, can also imagine a future in which I acquire one of these and I start trying it on and I'm like, where have you been all my life, you glorious baby? And it's like really melting into my skin and maybe not entirely setting down, but creating a really wearable kind of like healthy glow that I can't get enough of. And I love the color Magic Hour, the palest color. And I really love that they've just released this deeper brown toned one called Power Hour. I really like this. It's something that I would like to try. And you know, it's on trend mood right now because they released these 3 new colors. They look beautiful. Give me the tea. I am so excited that Danessa Myricks is coming to Sephora. And also kind of like in light of that excitement, annoyed that it's taken this long. Like Danessa Myricks should have been in Sephora years ago. She's just an absolute powerhouse. She's so amazing. Such a beautiful presence in the beauty world. She's one of my favorite people that I follow on Instagram because I just love Danessa Myricks' makeup looks. And I really have been impressed by the makeup that I have tried from her for the most part. Even the things that I decided not to keep or that I didn't love, it wasn't because they weren't performing beautifully. It was because it just, you know, I have enough and I try not to keep something unless it's really suiting me so well that I'm going to be using it over and over. But the thing that I love the most, I'm actually wearing today. The shine on the center of my lids, that really, really bright shine, is from what's it called? The Color Fix Foil in Milky Way. One of my favorite discoveries of last year and one of my very favorite acquisitions of makeup over the past couple of years. I use it all the time still. All I'm saying is that I would like for Danessa Myricks to become more of a household name than she already is in the makeup community. And I would like her products to become more ubiquitous in the makeup community. I think that she deserves it in every way. And again, it's just great to have this beautiful Black-owned brand be available more widely. And I love seeing Danessa Myricks' face on Trend Mood, and I love seeing her featured at Sephora, you know what I mean? It's wonderful to see her gorgeous face and see her talents featured more in the beauty world. So very, very happy news. This is a post that completely got me. I think that this might be the one that when I saw it, I was like, what's going on with my feelings because I look at this and I want to go to Sephora and spend $200. It's like, it's just one of these conglomerate posts where Trend Mood's like 5 new brands or like it's like a new lip gloss and 3 new brands coming to Sephora, and it's like all squashed together into one post. I'm just going to go through the things. The lip gloss doesn't interest me from KVD, Vegan Beauty, whatever. Although the colors are very beautiful, but I'm just not like, it's not on my radar really. But this brand of makeup bags, I guess it's not a brand. It's a Sephora collection collab, Brother Veyes x Sephora. And so it's like this doodle bag, this train case. I'm going to put pictures of them up. The doodle bag is stunning. I just can't. This is the kind of thing that really gets me going. These line drawing illustrations on this beautiful, richly colored faux leather. And then I go through to the next pane, the next slide on the Instagram post, and there's this pink croc zipper case, faux leather with a animal, a cheetah print side to it. Like this, it's literally if I woke up tomorrow and instead of being a human person, I was a makeup case, this is the one that I would be. It would be like I'd wake up in bed and I would be this, and I would be like, what happened to me? I actually want this. Like I strongly want that. I genuinely want it. I'm telling you, I'm putting it on my wish list. I might buy it in April because makeup cases, it's the kind of thing that like when you want one, like when I need one, when I need to like replace my old one, it's surprisingly hard to find one that is perfect for me aesthetically, like that suits me. So it's the kind of thing that I feel like when I see one that I know that I will really love, I should snatch it up. Years and years go by and I never see the like makeup case, the Metamorphosis by Franz Kafka X Hannah Louise posted makeup case. The makeup case Metamorphosis case. I never see it, and this is it. And then there's a third thing in the collection, which is like a set of little 3 cases, and I love them as well. I love all 3 of these things that the Sephora collection collabed on. And then the new brands, Oribe, it's fine, could take them or leave them. I've tried their stuff before. It's so expensive, and it's like, there's so much good hair care out there. Like I'm fine without that one. But the other 2 brands are super intriguing. So Say Beauty, I can't tell you how many times I've like gone to their website, put a bunch of stuff in my cart, and I've been about to check out to do a self-sponsored review. Like I've considered for weeks, for months, even years. I don't know how long this brand has been around, but for at least most of last year, intermittently I considered making Say Beauty one of my monthly self-sponsored reviews. And it just always got edged out by other brands that I wanted to review more. And now it's going to be at Sephora. So I'm interested in that. And then this last one, Merit, look at this packaging. Look at it. I have never heard of this brand before, but they are coming for my wig. Merit, minimalist beauty, well-edited essentials that have earned a place on your vanity. I feel like it merits some consideration. Moving on, this has me completely gagged because I have, dare I say it, is this true? Never wanted anything from MAC. I think that might actually be true. I've never really been a MAC person, and especially since I started doing YouTube stuff and doing these kinds of videos, I have never been over here during a new makeup releases and being like, look at this collection from MAC. It's so delicious. I kind of want it. Never. And I rarely even talk about MAC during new makeup releases because it doesn't even usually merit my my interest. Sorry, it just got really loud from 1,000. Everyone's crying. People are doing maintenance. Anyway, I super want this. I'm, again, not gonna buy it, but I super want it. Not only is it MAC's first gender fluid makeup collection, inspired by 70s glam rock icons, Bowie, Mick Jagger, in gilded Renaissance-inspired packaging. Like, how perfect. Not only is it that, but look at it. Look at it. And the colors, and that lip palette, and the packaging. I could see, I mean, it's not like I'm a person who one day is gonna like release makeup. You know what I mean? I'm not over here thinking that that's my destiny, but I could see, like, if somebody came from the future, if someone time traveled to me and was like, you don't imagine right now this is part of your future, but you're actually going to, in 5 years or 10 years, help create a makeup collection, and you're going to design the packaging and the colors, and then you're going to release it. And they showed me this picture without the MAC logo, I would believe them. I would believe that I traveled into the future by living life. I would believe that I lived. I would believe that time passed and eventually I designed this collection of makeup and thought that this was like a good thing to put out on the market. I'm saying this by way of giving it high praise. Like, that's how beautiful I think it is. Okay, we just have 2 more things. We're closing in on it. This is one that this is evidence, and I'll just tell you what it is. It's the Ethereal Blooms palette by Artist Couture. This is evidence that I'm just having like a day where everything appeals to me, or maybe like a week where everything appeals to me, because this is the kind of thing, color-wise, ordinarily, that I would just, again, it wouldn't even merit being a blip on the screen. Here's the thing. If Violet Voss had released this palette in extremely ugly packaging with bad fonts and bad photography, I would literally, I wouldn't have even seen it. It wouldn't have even registered. I would just be like, thank you, next, you know? But because it's in this strangely beautiful, like turquoise to cream compact that just, it looks very touchable with this dark gold, it's like that old style font. And because of this advertising image with like the angels and the way that it looks both painted and photographed, they've just nailed the advertising, the imagery, And so I was looking through and I was like, who released this? What brand is this? It also intrigued me because I couldn't tell at a glance what the brand was. And often you can tell at a glance without even reading the name of the brand, but I couldn't. And so it really engaged me, and I just find it very beautiful. And if this were a different week or a different month, if it were one of those months when everything seemed unappealing to me, I would be sitting here saying, like, this is one of the best releases of the past 2 weeks. This is like the only thing that's good on the market right now, according to me. Because so much has appealed to me today, this doesn't appeal to me basically just because the colors aren't me. You know what I mean? It's like not my jam. But I had to include it in the video. I had to give them some kudos because I just think this is exquisitely done, and it does make me want to kind of pay more attention to what Artist Couture is up to. Although I say that, and then as I was talking, I swiped through and I saw the arm swatches. And when I saw the arm swatches, I got a flashback to the other palettes, that how Artist Couture like released a palette and then like released the same exact thing. And it also had like a hot pink and like a blue and a turquoise in it. And so now I see the swatches and I'm like, maybe this is just like bizarrely redundant. But the way that it's packaged and advertised was, if that's true, was obscuring that fact. So I'm just going to leave that there. Gotta talk about these stunning Katie Jane Hughes brushes. So Katie Jane Hughes has collabed with Spectrum. I've never tried Spectrum brushes, so I don't know if they're good. I assume they are because they're expensive. Isn't that demented? It's like not a reason to assume that something is good, because we all know that things can be really expensive and not be good. But when I saw this beautiful, I guess maybe to give myself a little more credit, I'm assuming that they're good because Katie Jane Hughes collabed on them, and I assume that she could design something and put her name to it and release it if it wasn't high quality. I enjoy Katie Jane Hughes content. I follow her on Instagram. I feel like her taste level is just like to the moon. You know what I mean? Like her taste level is like beyond. And that really comes through in these brushes. If you're designing a brush roll and a set of brushes, it's like there are only so many choices that you can make, because you're just like choosing the bristle shapes and then the bristle colors. And then you're choosing the ferrule, and then you're choosing the color of the brush handle, and you know what I mean? The font, like it's sort of like a finite, there's like a finite creativity, you know what I mean? And she took those constraints and she made, in my opinion, the best decisions that anyone could possibly make to make brushes really beautiful and covetable. The olive colored handles, the gold, the sort of standard like pencil font on the brushes, the beautiful creamy white bristles, these like bright white gold ferrules, and then this gorgeous khaki colored brush roll. Like I've never wanted a set of brushes more in my life. And that's just based on how they look. They're so beautiful. Of course, I'm not going to buy these. They're very expensive. The set is very expensive. And I love my Rephr brushes. I wouldn't probably buy these anyway, in spite of how beautiful they are, even if they were very inexpensive, because they're synthetic brushes. I really love my Rephr brushes, and through them I have found that I really prefer natural hair brushes. But oh my goodness, like this, I just can't stop looking at the picture of these brushes that Katie Jane Hughes designed, because she really nailed it. And I am excited because if she continues to kind of do this, like if she continues to collab, maybe starts to design her own makeup, her own stuff, like more than ever, I mean it when I say I am following her future career with great interest, because I think that if we continue to see things from Katie Jane Hughes, we can expect to see great things. And this brush roll to me is evidence of that. It's just beautiful. So that puts the butter on the spinach. That is all of the things that have really captured my heart. I'm just gonna whiz through trend mood and you know, just make it clear to you that there are also a whole bunch of things that did not capture my heart, that I didn't discuss. I mean, there are just things that I didn't discuss. Like we didn't talk about the fact that Becca is over. I'm sure everyone else will be talking about that in their videos about new makeup and, you know, beauty news. I haven't really been appreciating much that has come from Becca lately, so it's not like my heart is breaking over this, but it is kind of shocking. You know, it's interesting. It reminds you of the impact. Not that I personally need a reminder of the impact of COVID on businesses, because I had a business that we had to close because of COVID. So I'm like, Becca, I feel you, girl, you know? But, you know, it was unexpected, to say the least. It's not like makeup brands of this size have been closing left and right during the pandemic. So it is interesting to see that. Some ColourPop stuff, the Bambi collection, doesn't really attract me. The colors are all very, I don't know, just very pale, except there's one dark one in the purple, but purple isn't really my eyeshadow color. So, you know, Bite Beauty, very beautiful advertising, but not really interested in the product because it's a liquid eyeliner. All this kind of stuff, you know. KKW with a mauve collection that's weirdly in this like yellow butterscotch packaging that's not mauve at all. Viseart with another sort of pale pastel-y palette that doesn't engage me. You know, it's just, there's a whole bunch of stuff like that, right? The things that I've featured in this video, the things that I've talked about, have been the standouts in yet another sea of new releases, which is what we're always swimming in. So I don't know, that circling back was less interesting and less successful than I thought it would be. I'm just going to end it here. I appreciate you for watching. I hope that this was fun. It's been interesting. I think that what I said when I was talking about my feelings about the Marc Jacobs concealer release, that's really the umbrella statement for the whole video. It's like, you might think that a video where I'm like, all of these things are really making me want them, but I'm not going to buy them because I'm on a no buy. You might think that that would be like a pain-filled video, this like unfulfilled desire-filled video where I'm like, I want everything and I can't have it. But in fact, the way that I'm feeling is like, just glad to be excited about color and texture and packaging and color stories. Glad that some brands are doing some interesting things. And I can live without the things that are making me want them. Like, I can happily live without them. I would actually rather be feeling this way, be feeling like there's exciting stuff happening in this community, than be feeling like, oh my gosh, everything's such a bore, whether I'm on a no buy or not, whether I'm buying new makeup or not. I prefer this. So this has been kind of a fun one. Let me know what you think in the comments, and don't forget to take extra good care of yourself today, so that you can be the most effective version of yourself as you do your work in the world.